I have all the files on this hard drive, and then if I go to my freelance work, this is the project I'm working on. Here's all my media files. What you'll notice is Davinci has a database, so that's where the project is stored. So anytime I want to open up the project, here's all my files. You'll have to do some YouTube videos to understand the database system, but for right now, all you need to know is that the project file is not stored here. It's stored in your database. So I'm going to hit new project, and I'm going to make this K-12 media graduation Westwood. Now when it opens up, you have a media tab where you can find your project and toggle to it. And this is where you can import media. Your cut page is a page I never use, so I would just ignore that for now. I mean, I'm sure it can be beneficial, but for the sake of learning, I wouldn't even touch it. But these are all your pages down here. They're basically different programs, each page is. This is the edit screen. This is pretty much what Premiere is. This screen right here. Fusion is kind of like After Effects. So it's like you're jumping to different programs. Color is where you color everything. Fairlight is your audio stuff, and delivery is how you deliver the files. So I'll show you all that, but first, here's the edit screen. And instead of going to the media screen and importing it, I always just go to the edit screen and work right in here. So I'm going to create a folder just for this project that says media. In the media folder, I'm going to create a bin that says camera 1, camera 2. You can right click and go to new bin. I just use the shortcuts typically. But we'll do another bin that says audio, and this is where they all are. So I'm just going to import the video. So camera 1 I'm going to put here. Yes, I'm going to change the project to that frame rate. Camera 2, just going to drag into there. So that's how I import all my stuff. Actually, I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to get rid of my organization now that I realize I have to sync all this. So actually, just whatever file it is, you dump it all into the same category. And then I'm going to highlight all of these. I'm going to create a multicam sequence. This is how I'm going to sync it. Create new multicam. Selected clips. We're going to make sure angle sync is to sound. And then you could name this whatever you want, but it doesn't really matter right now. Okay, once it's synced, you see it right here. And this is how you create a multicam sequence. But I don't usually use the multicam sequence. What I'll do is I'll right click the multicam project. I'll open into a timeline. I just prefer not to edit that way. I prefer to edit this way. So I'll open it in a timeline. If this is how you like to edit, then I'll copy all of it. I create a new folder called sequences, and then I create a new sequence, graduation timeline. This stuff doesn't totally matter because it'll update between however many tracks are here, but I do like to change all the tracks to mono, the audio tracks. So there it is. I just pasted it into here. And then this is where I organize all my footage. But the nice thing about Davinci is just how fast it is. This is raw video that I'm just kind of flying through. Some of it's 6K. It looks like it did sync it all. But essentially, this is how we edit. This is just like Premiere. Pretty much everything's the same. I'll show you a couple things that are different, but I'll give you a quick rundown. But it's basically the same sort of stuff. You can just see how fast it just flies through. It's almost like I'm using proxy files, but I'm not. This disables the track, you know, that's on top. That disables the bottom track. This, I hit V, whatever command you set up will disable and enable those kind of the other video tracks. You can go up here, you can go to keyboard customization, and this is where you can change the keyboard to whatever layout you want. There's a setting for Premiere Pro here. You can do your own kind of customization. So all your keyboard shortcuts and everything are right here. There's one thing that is confusing. If you don't want to use Fairlight down here for your audio editor, and you just want to do stuff in here really quick, like how I like to do it, there isn't a pen tool to change the audio levels, so they just change, you know, however. But if you hit the Option key, it makes a keyframe, and that's how you're able to kind of edit the audio stuff. That was one thing that was driving me crazy and took me a long time to figure out. But it's all the same. Like, you have the solo track, you could solo just that. You have mute, all your normal audio tracks like that. When you copy and paste a clip, if you want it to paste on top, then you unselect these, and now it will paste on top, just like in Premiere. If you have all of these selected, I like this because if I move this to the top and copy it, and then I move it back down and paste, it shows it pastes to whatever track it was last left on. So that's some of the stuff I like that's like similar to Final Cut. It's like both features are in there. Obviously locking the tracks. There's this, you know, I have it set to Command W, but it'll slice through whatever tracks you have it on. This is all your cropping tools up here, you know, rotating and zooming and all that stuff. You can copy and paste attributes. Your stabilization's right here. You just click here, click on whatever clip you want to stabilize, hit stabilize. Just like warp stabilize, it's just defaulted into there. If you want, here's audio effects you can do right in here, so you don't have to go over to Fairlight. Video effects, I don't think there's any on there right now, but I can change things right here into like the raw settings of the camera as well, change the temperature or whatever I want to do. Then there's effects here. This is an effects tab where you know, bars and tones and all that stuff. If you want a solid color, you go to solid color. That's black, but it's easily changeable to whatever color you want. There's some effects here, like the binoculars effect, all that kind of stuff. Fusion composites that you make in Fusion. There's a bunch of titles. You can get a bunch of like pre-made titles as well that you can download. I've never really done it, but either way, all these are just right there for you to use. Audio transitions are here, video transition. I mean, you get it. It's just like Premiere in that sense, but they're just up here instead. The media pool is like your browser window. There's a sound library you can get some stuff from. But if you want to see more of your browser window, you can click that right there and it'll drop it down. If you want to hide it, it goes back up. This right here is where you can have tabs. So if you don't see tabs, um, they're closed out by default. But if you have like multiple sequences open, uh, and you want to see two at a time, all you do is click here and you click on that, and now you can have multiple tabs. They just kind of hide some of it uh, by default. But also, this is where you can see the different types of, like, whether you see your audio or not. This is where you can see your track height video, your audio video, and this is where you can toggle like how you want to see your waveform files and all that stuff. Like what position you want them, down, up. So yeah, there's a way to open up two projects at once and switch back and forth, but that's stuff we could show you another time if it was something you're interested in. But if you're wondering how to export this, so color real quick, this is where you'd probably need a little bit of a tutorial on, but this is where I could quickly go in and do a couple effects. And the nice thing is, like, if you go back to the edit window, if it's playing like lagging because of those effects, you can hit this button right here and it turns them off.
Thank you.
So you can play it in RAW, and then you can go back to that view, which is cool. So there's stuff in color as well, but for now, don't worry about it. So let's go to delivery. Let's say I just want to export like
Please give a warm
this,
welcome to Dr.
that. We can mark in and mark out. This is again where this is all your settings. So if we want to send it out custom, if we want to send it out to YouTube, let's just say test. You can do 1080, whatever you want to deliver in. We browse to the location. Let's just have this go on my desktop. And then you add to render queue. And then I could go back into my edit page and I could say, now I want this section of the film to be edited. And I go to delivery, and now I test 2, and I add that to the render queue. And then when I hit render all, that's how it'll export as many clips as I need. So that's pretty much Davinci. It's pretty simple. Goodbye.